Professional athletes can be very persuasive when it comes to young kids, but new research finds most of the food that pro athletes endorse is not healthy for kids. Researchers looked at 62 products endorsed by pro athletes and found nearly 80% lacked enough nutrition to actually be considered healthy.
Interesting. Dr. Zorba Paster joins us tonight from his clinic in Oregon. Hi, Zorba. Good to see you.
Hi. It's great to be here. Very interesting study when you look at it. Journal of Pediatrics, they looked at pro athletes. They looked at 100 pro athletes. Turns out that about 30% of the things they advertise are sporting good things. Those are fine. When we look at food and beverages, which are about 25 or 30%, fascinating things. When it came to food, only about 80 to 85% of the food that they actually advertised was junk. Caloric dense with almost no nutrients in it. When we look at the drinks, it's even worse. It was 90% of the drinks they recommended were junk drinks. And the biggest ones were LeBron James and Peyton Manning. They advertised a huge amount, and nearly 100% of what they advertised was absolute garbage. And I find it very, very interesting because these people are influencing our kids. They're also influencing adults. It's not only kids that they influence, and it's junk food that they're advertising.
Yeah, you look at LeBron James, I don't think he's eating a lot of Big Macs.
Well, you know, that's the fascinating thing about it, because you look at these athletes and you go, I want to be just like them. If I eat this, you know, caloric dense bar, I'm going to be just like them. And the reality is they don't eat, I'm sure they do not eat the junk that they actually advertise. But I think it's very important because from a parental point of view, it's important to realize that these are advertisements that are affecting your kids.
Well, and the prior research has shown that parents are just as influenced by those kinds of that kind of advertising as children are.
Right.
So as long as sales go through the roof, how do you break that vicious cycle?
Well, I think, first of all, you break it with education and being conscious. You say, hey, this particular thing is advertised. Let me read the label and decide whether or not I'm really going to give this to my child or I'm going to have it myself. That's the sort of one step in doing it. I think this is really where health education and literacy essentially come in. And that's kind of our job as parents. Our job is to begin to take a little bit of action on what our children are eating to make sure that they're healthy. And there was a recent study that goes along this line, and there is more and more high blood pressure in children today than ever before. And we know that for the most part, a lot of that high blood pressure is caused by too much salt. So if you look at foods that are too rich in calories and are too salty, these are a lot of the snack foods that our kids eat. And I think as a parent, we just have to read the labels and educate our children.
It really is. There's salt and so much out there. It is almost as bad of an issue as sugar, right?
Absolutely, and that's where the high blood pressure comes in. I mean, this is a time where you sit down with your kids and you say, okay, where do I find a healthful snack? How do I find what's good to eat? There are healthy things out there. They're not just carrot chips that are out there. They're good, healthy foods, and if you look at the foods that your child are going to eat, just compare them and go for the ones that have the most nutrients, the least sugar, and the least fat, and that means a little bit of work on your part when you're going out and shopping.
That's hard. If something was endorsed by Zorba Paster, I'd buy it.
Me and LeBron James, right?
All right, thanks a lot, Zorba. Good to see you.
Yep.
A pleasure.